What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Dayton Triangles Madden franchise here on Madden 25. We're having a pretty solid start to the season given the overall of our team, and we have a big time matchup here early on in our first spring football league season. We are taking on the DC Defenders in this episode, and the DC Defenders, man, they come in undefeated. They have not lost a single game yet this season. However, when you look at the overalls, we're actually very similar to each other. DC comes in as 80s across the board, but our defense is essentially the same, and our offense is only 1 point lesser. So we're a 79 overall, and then DC is, of course, an 80 overall team. What does make this DC Defenders team extremely scary, though, is that they do have one of the top defenses in the entire league. They're currently averaging less than 14 points allowed per game, and they are a top 5 rush defense unit and a top 10 pass defense unit. So it's going to be a challenge to put points up on the board, but we are one of the top offenses in spring football. We're coming in with a top 5 offense ourselves. So we're going to have a battle on our hands here as we try to keep pace within our division. We're certainly in the thick of things, and we'll have a divisional game later on in this episode as well. So gonna be a fun one here, man. Make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And before we get into this actual game, we do have one last thing that we do need to take care of. So while we've done our weekly training, what we were able to do was that we actually have a couple of players that are ready to be upgraded. One of those players is Chris Saxon. He's one of our top receivers on the roster, and he's a very young player, only 23 years old, has star development already. And what I want to do is, for this particular upgrade, I want to try to move it towards the slot, make him a little bit more diverse of a football player, because we know he can go deep down the field. He can be a vertical threat. And so we work on his slot upgrades. He gets +2 to short route running, and he does move up to a natural 77, but he is being held back at the moment because of morale issues. Now, the other person that is getting an upgrade is Damian Small. This is one of our backup corners, and for this one, man, I want to definitely work on his man-to-man, as that is a scheme fit. I want to really help improve his strength so that we can try to get him on the field a little bit more. So we'll use the man-to-man, and he gets up to a 63 overall, with most notably a +2 to both man and zone coverage. But let's not waste any more time as we get ready to go about taking on one of the best teams in the Spring Football League. Let's see if we can pull off a big upset here against the DC Defenders. I'll be catching you guys out there on the field. Alright, man, so we are out here, and we are actually coming out with a free and out to start the drive against the DC Defenders. So let's see if our offense can do something here. Our guy wins on the curl pattern, as Chris Saxon is going to be able to pick up the first down for us. You love to see it. So we're approaching midfield already, putting together a solid drive, as we'll try to throw it short over the middle to Heidick, and Heidick cannot bring that particular pass in. So instead, it's going to be 3rd and 11. Good, trying to get a little bit creative here, trying to get DJ Porter out into open space, and it works pretty well here, but we don't get the blocks that we're looking for, as the DC Defenders were able to move to the side quickly. So it was a promising drive for the Dayton Triangles, but with that being said, we will have to go ahead and we have to settle for the punt, right? As now DC is going to go to work as the Defenders look to get the first points onto the scoreboard. And they got a pretty damn good quarterback there under center. I mean, Buddy's got that X factor waiting for him, right? So he might be a problem if we let him get into rhythm. So it's critical that we make sure that we get pressure. Another person to watch as well is Lionel Roseman. Roseman is coming in. He has the, he had a solid game last time out. 5 catches, 61 yards. Solid ball player. As now the DC defenders are looking to continue their strong second drive of the game. As they're now inside the 30-yard line. So their quarterback drops back, looks over the left-hand side once again, and it's going to be brought down. And Herndon has absolutely filmed himself, already closing in on close to 100 yards passing in the first quarter. As Herndon, this time we at least flush him out of the pocket, sort of make him throw that pass away. So now it's going to be 2nd and 10 as Herndon goes ahead, throws over the left-hand side. It's going to be deflected away. Nice ball skills there on the outside. And at least we force a 3rd and long. But we're going to go ahead and send this blitz. I want to make sure this quarterback does not have time to throw. And sure enough, he does. Finds his tight end over the middle. It's a touchdown for the DC defenders, as Josh Monroe gets the scoring started. Unfortunately for our triangles, we do not respond with any kind of points. We actually don't even pick up a 1st down, which is sad to see, but it is what it is. So as now the DC defenders will be back out onto the field. Roseman already having a pretty busy day. He's got a few catches in this one, 4 catches for I think 51 yards. Just in this first quarter. This quarterback certainly has his favorite targets. As now 1st and 10, they go right back to Roseman, who now has 5 catches in this game. 5 catches for 56 yards. We'll see if they go back to him yet again, as Herndon's going to drop back, looks over the middle, and this time he's going to check it down to his tight end, Gibson, as Gibson will move the sticks. Later on in the first quarter, though, Herndon looks over to the left-hand side and is going to be caught for a completion. But there is a penalty out there onto the field, and it looks like it's going to be against the defenders. Marquise Greenwood gets called for the holding, so instead, going to be 1st and 20, make it 2nd and longer, as Jim Jimenez is able to get home to the quarterback. And that is going to make this 2nd and a country mile. I mean, 31 yards in 2 plays. That's going to be a tough ask for any offense. But Herndon's going to pick up a decent chunk, as it'll be a gain of 6. But still, 3rd and 25. 3rd and 25 is what we have. We just got to make sure we come out here. We got to make a play on the ball. 3rd and 25 coming up, as Herndon's going to drop back. And look who he finds. Roseman with the catch. You cannot be serious right now. 3rd and 25, and we give up a big play like that is wild to me. But we're still in this game, though, even though all the mishaps of this first quarter. We're only down by 7, but we got to change our tone quickly. So with that being said, welcome to the second quarter of action, as we're going to go ahead and get things started here, as DC is getting ready to go to work, as Claxton will start the second quarter off with another 1st down completion. So the DC defenders are moving the ball pretty well, as they have yet another red zone opportunity. 3rd and 6 coming up, as Herndon's going to quickly throw over the middle. It's caught for another touchdown. DC is going to get another score up on the board, as Dom Hatchett will score for the DC defenders. And we are quickly seeing why DC is one of the best teams in the UFL, coming in at a 4-0 record. And they are certainly showing that. But hey, give credit to our guys. We get a good return there. It will start with good field position. We just got to get a solid, complete drive going. 1st and 10 following the big kick return, as we're going to go ahead and mix it up here. I like this little play call here. See if Leon Thompson is going to move things in motion. Looks like man for a second, but turns out it's actually zone. And Thomas is off to the races down the sideline and gets out of bounds. Gets his first rush of the game, and it goes for 29. Big play for the Dayton Triangles, as we're officially in business. as we got for 2nd and 8 coming up a couple of plays later. There's Leon Thomas again, getting open down the sideline, and he's going to take this all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton! And the Triangles are right back into the game after that huge touchdown pass. So we were able to force a free and out on a previous possession earlier in the game. Now that we're right back in it, let's see if we can actually come out here and try and get a stop on defense. And shoot, like, I would be okay with a field goal even if it means we find a way to slow down this offensive passing attack. But so far, we have just not really been able to make those necessary adjustments. This offense has been cooking us all day long, and we don't have any answers for us because no matter what they decide to run, it's almost always working for them, man. And that's going to continue on this particular drive as DC already gets across midfield as Hearn's going to drop back, throws over the middle, and he will find Roseman again for another good catch. Gain of 7 on the play. As now, 3rd and short coming up. They're going to actually decide to run the ball for once. Our defense is actually going to hold it down. We will get the stop on defense. Force DC to settle for a field goal. However, that being said, our offense is really struggling against one of the premier defenses in the league as we are forced to go free and out yet again. So our defense has to trot itself back out onto the field where we continue to try to build off of our last possession where we only allowed a field goal. However, Hearn is going to really kill us here on this play actions, getting it out to the halfback, and the tailback is able to pick up a gain of 6. Just continuing to try to make adjustments in this cat and mouse game where no matter what we have decided to do, but that's worked for us. Maybe in doubt, all we gotta do, we just gotta hit as hard as humanly possible, and that's gonna solve everything. As now, 3rd and 4 coming up as we try to get another stop on defense. Jimenez, however, is going to be able to throw over to the right-hand side. Finds Hatchet, and Hatchet's going to pick up yet another 1st down. So, continuing the 2-minute warning as that should have been intercepted. I don't know why my corner decided to just deflect that pass away. He was definitely in position to make a play, but instead it's going to be 3rd and 7 as they'll throw over the middle of the field, and that's going to be caught for a 1st down as the DC defenders continue their strong start in this game. You will eventually use a timeout, but they still have a couple of timeouts that they can use. Less than 40 seconds left. This offense has shown that it can be extremely explosive at any given moment. Another 3rd down coming up for the DC defenders as Andrew Hurdens making the adjustments at the line. Throwing over to the right-hand side, though, and finds Roseman for another catch. Roseman is on absolute fire right now. He has over 100 yards on the day. He's just looking for another touchdown, and there it is. A touchdown for Leano Roseman, who has been borderline unguardable. He puts up those kind of stats in a half. No wonder we're down big going into halftime. 24-7 is going to be your score. So we'll try to bounce back here as we do get the ball to start this second half at the very least, as we'll try to find some kind of rhythm here to start this second half. But don't really like what we saw downfield as we are going to have to take the sack there. Rookie quarterback making a wise decision, choosing the least bad option. As now 3rd and 16 coming up as Collar tries to move the ball downfield. He's going to find Leon Thomas wide but make it open. That's going to go for an easy 1st down there. You love to see it. Couple of plays later, though, as we try to build upon that momentum as Collar drops back. Looks over to the left-hand side, and there's Andrew Heineck. Heineck able to get into the open space and nearly picking up a 1st down there as well. One of the best drives that we put together since early in the 1st quarter. We'll see if we can continue it as we'll run it up the gut with Paul Lashley. And Paul Lashley will get more than enough to pick up the 1st down. So the drive will continue as we now go a couple of plays later where Dayton is going to have to deal with the blitz. And Heineck on the one-on-one. But The tight end simply cannot hang on and make a play. So now it's going to be 3rd and 8 instead. Would not be surprised if we see DC send another blitz. And it looks like they're staying in coverage. Got 4 guys in coverage, but a bad throw over the middle. It's going to be intercepted. Timmy Stanton going to be the one that makes the play on the ball. And that wasn't even a bad decision. That was just simply some inaccuracy issues leading to that interception. So DC is going to then take over at about the 30-yard line because of that interception. A drive ruined by an untimely turnover. So now here comes our defense yet again, trying to continue to make some plays on the ball as that's caught in the air. I am shocked that is not deflected away or we forced the ball loose. Something, bro. Something. It's just been that kind of day where DC has been able to do whatever they wanted. As now 1st and 10 coming up, looking over the left-hand side. And there's Roseman again with his 11th catch of the day. Thought we were going to be able to make a play, but our linebacker decided to go up for whatever reason. Probably cost the completion there for sure. And speaking of Roseman, there he is making yet another play on the ball. Someone has to double cover this guy because Roseman simply has been doing whatever he wanted to do in this, first 2.5 quarters of the game thus far. And then we're just falling apart here, man, like on the defensive side of the ball. It has not been a good day for this defense. Who has already come in struggling, one of the worst defenses in the Spring Football League, in this UFL. And is going to top it off with yet another touchdown for Leano Roseman, who's showing he might be one of the top receivers in the Spring League. A name to definitely watch out for when it comes to seeing who signs onto an NFL roster in the near future. But for now, we'll come back to this DC squad as, well, we end up going 3 and out on our next possession. It really makes you wonder if it's one of those things where we just so happen to see, it's crazy to think about, right? Like, I'm sure this is getting some NFL scouts' attention, but it also goes to show just generally for DC, everything's going right for them today, where for us, we had a couple of bright moments, but, really haven't been able to do anything from a consistency standpoint. This was almost a good play, though. Jimenez getting some pressure, but he was able to find his dump off. It's another big gain. Herndon is at well over 400 yards today. 4 touchdowns to go with it. As we now enter this final quarter of action, just trying to see if we can play for pride at this point. I don't think it's going to get much better. If they score here, we might really need to consider just getting these backups into the game and just trying to make sure that we come out of here without any injuries. And yep, there it is. Yet another touchdown for the DC defenders, as they are going to unquestionably become one of those undefeated teams to watch out for, maybe a championship favorite, as the defenders win convincingly here, 45-7. We got to go back to the lab and really make some adjustments after this one. Although all things being considered, it wasn't all bad, because not only did we figure out ourselves a little bit here, but we do also get a few upgrades as well. Our star linebacker Dylan Wright, for example, was able to get some upgrades, and I think after all the pass coverage issues that we had in the last game, I think I'm going to definitely put this more towards pass coverage. So with that being said, we're going to spend a point here, and that's going to bring our guy up to 90 overall. He's going to get a +2, most notably in awareness. Is someone that we could see go to the NFL if he can continue his strong season. But we have a couple of other things that we want to do. First and foremost, I want to put this one into speed rusher. Gotta have that volatility. If we can get to the quarterback, then quarterback's not going to have as much time in terms of being able to actually read the defense, and Cameron Means will now become a 67 overall, primarily because of that. And then finally, Daryl Upshaw. Daryl Upshaw is going to be looked at here, and we're going to boost his zone coverage because we do play a lot of zone in our games. and that will get him up to a 68 overall, with most notably a +2 being provided into zone coverage. So in our last game before we go into our bye week, let's see if we can play a little bit better here as we go on the road yet again. This time we are taking on the Pittsburgh Maulers, who, you know, we're right in the thick of things. Pittsburgh comes in 3-2 in the same division, so to be able to do something in this game would be ideal. And how did this man get back up and make a play on the ball? Like, Barkley was absolutely ridiculous there. And now it's going to be 1st and goal for the Pittsburgh Maulers. And make that... Oh, no. Hold on. Hold on. Could our defense actually do something here? That could be something to watch out for. As, look at this. We give up a big play, and that big play ends up being a touchdown. Pittsburgh is going to score yet again, as Eldon Buckley is going to put some points on the board. So it's been all Pittsburgh here in the first half as we find ourselves down 21-0. But Paul Lashley's going to try to create a spark as we pick up a first down. Best drive that we've had, and maybe we really need to look at trying to make some adjustments to our play call. Lashley is our best player on the team. He definitely should be getting some more touches for sure. As now, 3rd and 10 coming up. Caller drops back, quickly throws over the middle, and finds Andrew Heidick. Just a quick decision by the rookie quarterback. He's able to get it to a 1st and goal situation. But we got to find a way to punch it in. 3rd and goal coming up at the 2-minute warning. Collar's going to drop back, looks to the left-hand side, and it's caught! Touchdown, Dayton! And the triangles are on the board with DJ Porter finding the end zone. And after getting a stop on defense, a rare stop it seems nowadays, we are now out here with a chance to get right back into this game, which that would be huge for us considering being down 21-0 to start things out. That's a big hole to climb in any professional sports league. And this is certainly no different here as well. So 2-minute drive currently under effect here as we get to the line of scrimmage quickly. As Collar's taking a look at his options, looking downfield, wants to go over the middle of the field, but it's going to be incomplete. Just a bad rookie habit there, just locking into his receiver a little bit too much. As now we'll go ahead and see once again trying to throw over the middle. He wanted his tight end. Gotta take a look at some of these other reads. You know, can't just lock in on one read and expect it to be there every single time. So now it's 3rd and 10, and this time Pittsburgh sends the blitz. That ironically would have been a good time to go to the drag route or some other route, because that certainly did not work at all. So we go into halftime still down multiple possessions, and remains the case for much of the 3rd quarter. But we see a brilliant throw here late in the 3rd to DJ Porter. That was a dot that needed to be thrown to a particular spot, and it certainly was. So that could help Dayton get back into things, but it would help if we can get some stops on defense though. 3rd and 7 coming up as we try to force a stop defensively. Looking over to the left-hand side, and our guys simply could not rally to the ball soon enough. Got to do a much better job of guarding the sticks, as Strong was not doing a good job of really doing that contained defense. Allowing completion, that's fine. Like, we're cool with like allowing completions, but not when they end up in the end zone though. Another touchdown for the Pittsburgh Maulers. Jose Newman is going to score for Pittsburgh, as now it's a 35-17 lead for this Mauler squad, as a win in this game certainly going to help these Pittsburgh team take a commanding lead within our division. And that's even with Andrew Collar really having a good game. 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He's really been going to work for this Dayton squad. It's just the defense has not really showed up yet again, and something that we'll need to address down the line. But for now, it's 3rd and 7 as we try to throw it to the left-hand side. Had an opening on that out route, but it looks like he just threw it a little bit too wide there. It will result in an incompletion. As now 4th and 7 coming up. Collar in the gun with nobody in the backfield. 5 wide set, throwing over the middle, and did not see that safety come down. This could be trouble. This may be going all the way, and there is no flags either. Touchdown for the Pittsburgh Maulers. And this Pittsburgh squad is going to extend the lead down by 25 points. It's been that kind of rough day. So at this point, probably can't do just much more than play for pride. And this is even with a great performance with DJ Porter. 110 yards, multiple touchdowns, 12 catches. The fantasy owners certainly are happy for him at least. But 4th and 4, Collar's just trying to make a play. Able to find Paul Lashley at the very least. And now we're going to try to go into a no huddle. Like I said, really want to try and finish this game strong. As we got 1st and 10 coming up. Looking over right-hand side and quickly finds Andrew Heidick for a decent gain. But unfortunately have to use one of our timeouts there, which is certainly not ideal either. 2nd and 5 coming up. It looks like Pittsburgh wants to press at the line of scrimmage. Is going to try to force a deep shot. Really trusting Leon Thomas to make a play there. But Leon Thomas cannot bring it down. And yet again, we're staring down 3rd and 5. Collar again looking over the middle. Thought we had a man open for a second, but we simply ran out of time in the pocket. It's very fortunate that we didn't allow a sack there. So at least his 4th down attempt is far more reasonable. As Collar will again drop back, looks over to the middle, and that is going to be deflected at the line of scrimmage, it looked like. We had a wide butt open man, and unfortunately that was just how it went here. So 2 games in a row where we just had really discouraging performances, as not only do we drop our couple of games, and we're certainly on a losing streak now, 3 games in a row. So while we ended up playing 2 games in this episode, I would argue to say that both times our team did not show up to play. Unlike earlier in the season, we just felt like we didn't have the effort defensively, as we once again give up 40+ points in a game, and we end up getting blown out by this Pittsburgh Maulers team, one of our bitter division rivals. Now, I will say that up until the very late parts of the game, Andrew Collar had arguably one of his best games as a pro, throwing for multiple touchdowns and 283 yards. Having a rookie quarterback, though, throw for 50+ times is not a recipe for success, but we were kind of put in this position based on the game script that we were provided. And again, it basically kicked Paul Lashley out of the gameplay because of that, because we only ran the ball 10 times today, and even when we ran it, honestly, we weren't even effective running the ball either. However, DJ Porter was a bright spot on our team, as he had multiple touchdown grabs in the matchup. He had 12 catches for 110 yards in the game, so he was certainly a bright spot. But our defense simply has to produce at a much higher level, man. This is not how we want to go about winning games, trying to play complimentary football, and that's just not happening. We do have a couple of bright spots, though, with Dylan Wright able to lead the team in tackles with 9 total tackles, and Ernest Cox was right behind him with 8. However, that being said, we really didn't do anything of note today other than that. No sacks for our team, no interceptions, and we didn't force any fumbles either. So just not a good day for our defense at the office, and we're going to have some things that we really need to work on. And what's worse, in our game, we lose one of our veteran defensive linemen. Tim Avant ends up fracturing his foot, and he's going to end up being out for at least the next 7 weeks. Thankfully, we should have Paul Bass playing with us again in the next episode. He did dislocate his shoulder earlier this season, and hopefully with Paul Bass returning, that means our secondary can play at a much higher level, because, man, we desperately needed his presence for sure. So next episode, what our plan is, we're going to dive into the second half of our season. We'll play maybe at least a couple more games. We'll take on the San Diego Fleet and the New Orleans Breakers. Not being a 2-4 kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie to you. And it would be different if we were more competitive against DC and Pittsburgh, but That just simply didn't happen here, man. So next episode, we'll get into the second half of the season. We'll take on San Diego. We'll possibly take on New Orleans as well, as we try to find some answers for our defense in the next episode. But I hope you enjoyed this video, because even though we did not win any games today, we certainly had our bright moments, and just hoping to continue to get better as a football team, as one of the lesser spring football teams in the spring football league. So with that being said, this is John J Gaming on the mic signing off. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and do a couple of things for me. Hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off. Hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.